Good afternoon, Hawks, and welcome to CPPtv, your daily source of news around the nest. I'm sophomore Sean Powers.
And I'm senior meteorologist Sam Woodhouse. It is currently 42 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny outside. It will drop down to 32 by around 8 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow will be in the 40s with rain showers expected for the evening. The weather's been pretty bipolar lately, so be prepared for anything.
And now to CPP Sports.
Now to sports. Tonight the bowling team takes on Binghamton at a neutral location. Tomorrow the boys and girls basketball squads take on Binghamton. The boys are away while the girls play at home. Both matchups are at 5 o'clock. The varsity team also has a meeting with Binghamton tomorrow at 5:30. Speaking of basketball, last night the boys team both lost against Ithaca. JV losing by a mere 2 points with a chance to win with 2.6 seconds. Varsity was getting demolished but came back in the fourth quarter, making the game look a little closer than it was. Ithaca was in control and there was only so much a sick Jordan Haggard could do. Now to Isha with Mr. Janowski.
Okay, so welcome to CPPtv. Today I'm going to be interviewing you about a couple of questions about CPP and the community around us. So I'm going to start off with, what is your #1 new or ongoing initiative that our district will be focused on over the course of the next year?
That's a tough one because there's a lot of #1s. It's hard for me to nail down what the #1 thing would be. I think there's probably 3 or 4 things that come to mind that we're putting equal amounts of time into. I think first is we're in the middle of a major equity initiative around basically ensuring that every student feels like they are supported in a very inclusive environment in school. So we're conducting work currently with parents, with students in that regard, and I'm personally very excited about that work because I think it shows great promise. We're in the middle of starting to plan another round of facilities upgrades, trying to stay on schedule, making sure that the district doesn't fall back in the hole that it was in prior to building this building and the middle school and the changes at the elementary school. So that would be one.
So going on into innovations we've made or achievements, what do you think is one particular achievement that you're especially proud of in your time here at CPP? Well,
we're probably sitting in it. I was hired at a time when the district was in pretty rough shape facilities wise, and you know, while I'm not the sole cause for the last 2 facilities plans to pass, I'm certainly proud to be part of the team that, including our board and members of the community, and providing these upgrades for you, for our students, and making sure you have schools that you can be 100% proud of. And we've always had schools where the people inside the buildings were just great people and great teachers and support staff, but now it's nice to have buildings that the kids can say, hey, that's my school.
Right.
And I feel on a personal level, it's very gratifying to me as I'm starting to approach the end of my career and looking back at that time. So I would say all the facilities planning is the thing that comes to mind.
Okay, so how do you make challenging executive decisions for schools, because there's so many ideas or things that come up to you that you have to think, instead of just one school, how is it going to help the entire community?
Yeah, it's challenging. A lot of people don't really know what a superintendent does, and I think there's some people that think we make decisions by shaking magic 8 balls. It's not. We don't. My job is very much a 24-hour-a-day job every day of the year, and you do have to constantly have that long-range look. What you do now can affect down the line, and sometimes the decisions that you make now can keep the district or a school from doing something later on. So basically, for me, it comes back to 2 things. How is it going to affect the kids, and how is it going to affect the staff? And generally I ask myself those 2 questions as we make decisions, trying to do things that will really maximize opportunities for students. That's the most important thing to me. I want you to have opportunities to maximize your potential while you're here. We've got you for 13 years counting kindergarten, and I want to make sure that kids have every single opportunity to be able to be successful.
Speaking of more challenges, what do you think the biggest challenge facing specifically education in the next 5-10 years?
There's really a 1A and a 1B. One would be money.
Right.
There's never enough money in the system, and to be able to do the things that a community wants you to do, that students expect, and that we need to be a progressive school district takes money. And I think across the country, school districts are really struggling with how do we stay solvent in an area where, obviously people feel taxed out. So finances are first and foremost. The other thing is teacher shortage. We're running into major teacher shortages in this state. And I really think it's going to be a crisis here before long. I know in this state, the numbers have been cut in half in terms of the number of teachers who have graduated with teaching degrees. We've seen it in our pools as we've tried to hire people. The hiring pools have been very limited, and there just aren't as many people coming out of college as there used to be. So trying to fill teaching positions is going to be really challenging in the years going forward.
Okay, thank you. And the last question I want to ask you is regarding both the middle school and the high school now. So how do you feel about the schools merging, and do you believe it helped your district, or did it make something new, or did you start a new tradition with it?
That's a good question. I've been asked that a lot by a lot of different people, and I always answer it the same way. It's really in the perception of the individual. I feel like it made a difference because we're at a point with both middle schools and both high schools where we're really starting to talk about whether we were going to be able to offer some of the same things that we offer now in terms of programming, where the high school is going to be able to have the same number of courses that they have now, for instance. And the reality is in the district that from 1980 until the current period, the district has lost 1,000 students, but had the same number of schools. So something had to change, and then on top of that, certainly the condition of Northside Blodgett and CFA were becoming a big concern to a number of people, and there's no real easy way out there. So from a program standpoint, from a culture standpoint, I think it was a good move. But I'm also a smart man that I know there's people out there that don't agree with that. People like smaller schools. I can understand that wholeheartedly. But I think we're a stronger district because of the move overall. You wouldn't have been able to do this if we were east or west now, currently, as one example.
Right.
This happened because we merged.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to our students of the day, Faith Holclough, Elizabeth Holgriff, and Chris Brockway. To watch any previous shows, be sure to check out our YouTube channel at CPPtv. Also, don't forget to follow our Instagram at cpp.tv and Twitter at cpp_TV. I'm sophomore Monique Tovey. Thank you for watching and keep flying, Hawks.